G'day and welcome. We got another character guide for you here today with Dyspo, one of the Justice dudes from Dragon Ball Super. So again, as per usual, we're going to cover the just general stats. So you got DP cost, health, defense, skills, blast attacks, unique properties, key blasts, combos, and then strength weaknesses, similar character archetypes, and final thoughts. So let's get stuck in. So Dyspo is a bit of an odd duck, so it costs 6 DP, so it's a little bit expensive compared to some others with no transformations. He has 4 health bars, very low defense stat, the 7th lowest in the game actually, similar to Pan Kakunsa, low average damage stat, same with the margin for Evil and Goku Z mid. Starts with 1 key bar, which is definitely below average, normal is 2, and has 0 starting skill points and a maximum of 6. Takes 4 seconds to fully charge his key, and access to 3 follow-ups after a smash attack and 6 in splacking, which is above average. As a heavy follow-up from grounded throw, as quite a few characters have to spend a blast attack, get a combo after they're thrown on the ground, which is a bit annoying, but you know it's great that he has access to this. And if he manages to successfully land a regular perception, he gets a flying kick, which is okay, so it means he gets a combo from the front. So let's go into his skills. They're pretty interesting. So his super maximum light speed mode is supposed to buff his movement speed for 15 seconds and make him really fast, but honestly, like, unless you're on the ground, it's barely noticeable, so I'd say save your skill points for the instant spiking, as at least that buffs some of his other skills. So speaking of, so Pride Trooper Pose 2, so 15 seconds it buffs his melee and key blast by 10%, and of course gets into spiking. So not bad, it definitely, you know, it's nice to buff his melee damage, and it means also, since he has above average access to follow-ups, 6 in sparking, means that he can capitalize if you know some decent combos and stuff. So not bad, but again, it is pretty expensive, especially after they adjusted the cost. You want to be saving your skill points for either instant sparking or I suppose the odd revenge counter, just to keep yourself safe, because again, you know, this character doesn't take hits very well because of his very poor defense. So anywho, moving along, we're going to move on to his blast attack. So his blast one is just a standard beam attack, which is decently fast. It's for 7.8k, as you see there. Then he has a rush attack, which is extremely fast, slightly guardable, but it's kind of difficult to track. As you can see, the tracking is not great. Like even over the opponent sitting still, it's missing. There we go. Yeah, and there's no follow-up. As far as I could test, so it does good damage though. So that deals about 9.2k, which is pretty solid for a character like this. Normally the blast attacks for a speedy character generally don't do a whole lot, so it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Alright, so we're going to sparking just to show off his ultimate blast,
I'll show you,
which is a beam type and does about 16.5k damage. There we go. Yeah, so 60.5 is not too bad. It's about average for this kind of cost. So next we're going to move on to his special properties. So we go into sparking. I'll just show up a little bit. So you can do a rapid vanish, similar to a lot of other. What are you doing? There we go. Yeah, so by tapping your guard on sparking mode, it costs a little bit of key. You can rapid vanish. Not bad for opening up your opponent, especially at close range, since unlike a regular vanishing type attack, there isn't really any startup, so it means if they're doing perception, you can go right behind them, boom, you know, back turn combo just like that. And also the other thing, which is also pretty special to him, is that since he's a speedster, in other words, like a really fast, he uses very little key, and he can also chain it, so that means he can get around the stage really fast, and the cost is extremely low. So I've tested, and you can get about 15 dashes compared to a regular character's 4, which is phenomenal. It means that he's always going to be able to navigate the screen well, even when he's on the low key, which I think is really special, especially after they adjusted to Dragon Dash and things like that. So I think it's a nice upside to have for this kind of character, and kind of fits within the whole speedster thing, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, we're going to move along to his key blast next. So he's got standard key blast barrage, ascending, rapid, the dash, smash key blasts. Yep, nothing super crazy there, very standard. And yeah, that's his key blast. So now we're gonna go on to his basic combo and moveset. So he's got flying kicks on the first 2 follow-ups. And Ki blast cannon, which is good. And finishes with heavy finishes. So it's it can be a little bit linear in the sense that, you know, having 2 attacks like flying kicks back to back like that is a bit underwhelming, but you know, I guess it's not the worst thing in the world. It just means you have to be a bit more creative with, you know, how you choose to open up your opponent and not having, say, like a heavy finish earlier on, or you know, like any other unblockable attacks other than like a charged Ki blast cannon. It does sting a little bit, but you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. So speaking of, I'm just going to shove a quick combo here. I'll have the notation in the description just to keep it nice and simple. But yeah, that's basically the character in a nutshell. So overall, like, he's got a couple of decent strengths. So he has above average follow-ups, as we saw before, especially since he doesn't need to transform or cannot transform. He's got a small extra boost in damage when he uses the instance backing skill, which is, you know, never hurts, especially to just get that little extra damage. You can chain dashes and they're much cheaper, as we saw before. It's really cool, but again, like, I don't think it really bounces out a lot. He's got a lot of weaknesses, so he starts with only 1 Ki bar, and so that means, you know, it makes for a very weak point character, and you want to really go in and just start going crazy straight away. But I suppose it kind of sort of counterbalance with the cheaper dashes, but not really. And having some of the lowest defense in the game for a 6 cost is pretty abysmal, to be perfectly honest. So no transformations, no defensive skills. Yeah, no defensive skills for a squishy character is very, very scary. Like, you need to really be on point with, you know, your reception and dodges and everything else. Otherwise, you're just going to be opened up and you'll die in like just 2 or 3 combos, and you better hope and pray your super cannon comes out. Otherwise, you're just going to lose a 6 cost for nothing, really. So, and just, yeah, his moveset could definitely be improved a little bit, and it's not the worst in the world, but could definitely use for some improvements. So in terms of similar characters you could try who have similar downsides but also similar strengths, is Berta. So he has, you know, he has the speedster trait, so he has the cheap dashes and very fast attacks. He's a little easier to super counter than Dyspo because he has especially like fast multi-hitting attacks. So that's one thing Dyspo has going for him. He doesn't have that same weakness, but he costs half as much, so you could theoretically run 2 Bertas if there was a way to have that in the game. So this is just funny to think of. So yeah, being just kind of wrapping up in summation, having a 6 cost be this weak kind of hurts his viability just for general use, unless you really like a challenge. There are so many standout like Dragon Ball Super characters at this cost or cheaper, so I don't know why you would want to pick someone like this. It's a darn shame. Like, I think that if there was more kind of character archetypes who were speeds who weren't so squishy and easy to kill, I suppose it kind of fits again within the archetype and that kind of thing, but I think it definitely lowers his viability just in general play unless you really like this kind of character. And maybe there could have been some other funny, more practical, useful buff for his super maximum light speed, other than just moving faster on the ground. Like, it's a very aerial and game where you just fly around a lot, so having just be on the ground doesn't really, like, just the extra boost is not enough to justify the 2 skill points. Heck, maybe if they dropped it to just 1 or had some other small buff, that could, you know, be a way to buff this character, but I honestly don't really see it happening. But who knows, maybe, hopefully I'm wrong. And yeah, having the above average follow-ups is really nice, and chain dashes means you can get around the screen very easy. So if this was a 5 cost character, I could probably almost recommend him just because his strengths almost balance out some of his weaknesses, but frankly there are so many other better options than this guy. So if you want to run him in the theme team, or you know, just like the archetype, feel free, but otherwise I'd say just pick Berta or a character like that. So thanks for anyone who's stuck around and watched the vid. It's been a lot of fun just to cover the characters and see, you know, what they can do, that kind of thing, and I hope to do some more in the future. So just keep an eye on this space. Keep an eye in the description. There'll be a link to the text only guide for if there's anything you might have missed, or just to keep things nice and simple as like a bit of a cheat sheet. Hope everyone has a great day, be blessed, and catch you all around soon.